How does a computer work? A complete breakdown by Jay the Tech Dude. Chapter 1. The CPU. The CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. What does a CPU do? The CPU is basically the brains of the operation. It works by fetching instructions from the memory and either doing the instructions like processing graphics if it is integrated graphics, or by telling the graphics card to render the graphics. Parts of a CPU. The CPU consists of three main parts: the control unit, the logic unit, and the register set. The control unit basically fetches the data from the memory and decodes it, then sends it to the logic unit, where it computes and performs logic if necessary, and then sends some of the data back to the memory if needs to be processed later. The register set is basically a very short-term memory that is built into the CPU. What are cores in the CPU? Cores are what process the information. One core can process one instruction at a time, so the more cores there is, the more information that can be processed at once. What are threads? Threads let programs access those multiple cores, making them faster to load and process. So Minecraft, a single-threaded game, will be much slower to process than a game or application that's multi-threaded. This picture down in the bottom left is a picture of a dual-core CPU with one thread. Since there's only one thread, it can only access one of the cores. But with a multi-thread, it can access two of the cores, therefore increasing the performance. What are pipelines? CPU pipelines break the work of running an instruction into smaller steps. Each step works on a different part of the instruction at the same time, instead of one instruction having to fully finish before the next one starts. Because earlier steps finish sooner, later steps can begin earlier. This lets the CPU do things like run instructions out of order and keep all the parts of the processor busy. As a result, the CPU runs much faster than designs where each instruction has to wait for the previous to fully finish. What are caches? Caches are a fast memory located in or near the CPU, which takes a load off of the memory. Chapter 2. The memory, or RAM. RAM stands for Random Access Memory. What is RAM for? RAM is a temporary memory in your computer that gives applications a place to store and access data on a short-term basis. Having more RAM means that more data can be accessed and read almost instantly, as opposed to being written on your hard drive or SSD. Chapter 3. The motherboard. The motherboard connects all of the opponents. Please do not actually do this to your motherboard. This is just funny meme. The motherboard. The motherboard is the main circuit board, and it has a slot and place for every component, so the components can communicate with each other and send data back and forth. The BIOS. The BIOS stands for Basic Input-Output System, which controls low-level system settings like boot order. Chapter 3. The graphics card. What does a graphics card do? The graphics card is basically its own mini-computer, just for processing graphics. The graphics card contains a chip called the GPU, which you will hear often thrown around, but people are actually referring to the graphics card. VRAM. Since graphics cards are basically their own computers, they have RAM that they have memory, and that memory is called VRAM, or Virtual Random Access Memory. Chapter 5. The storage. There's two kinds of storage, an SSD or HDD hard drive. SSD stands for solid state drive. SSDs use the same type of chip as a USB drive for faster and more storage compared to the spinning disks found in hard drives. HDD stands for hard drive disk. A hard drive works through spinning a disk coated in a magnetic film to write data. It's kind of like a record player, with that it has an arm to rub across the disk to read the data, and the magnetic film is manipulated to write the data. This is most parts of a computer explained, except the power supply, but I think you can figure out what that one does. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.